Here we go. Here we go. Now that is what I am talking about, Villa fans. That is the performance. That is the level. And that is what this Aston Villa side are all about. I've been going down Villa Park for many, many years. Many, many years. Like you all. And I've got to say, that is the best performance I've seen from a Villa side from start to finish in years. I tweeted at halftime, utter domination, and I'm going to say it again, utter domination from start to finish. I mentioned on the fan camp, if you want to know what Villa are all about, if you want to see what type of performances Unai Emery wants to put in for a Villa side, just watch that 90. Just watch that 90. We were tremendous with the ball. The shape of the team was fantastic. The passing networks were brilliant. We were just class. Absolutely class. And we bossed the game. For 90 minutes, Aston Villa bossed the football match. And it was just what was needed. The fan base wanted it. And we got it. And Unai Emery must be absolutely pleased so much that he got that performance at home, because again, I said against Crystal Palace, I was sat in my chair, I was calm, I was relaxed, and today the same thing happened. Calm, relaxed, and chilled, and the 3 points were on the way, and we got them, and I was absolutely buzzing. I mean, before the game, a lot of people were saying that this is a good Bournemouth side. They're coming off the back of a great win against Liverpool, which they were. But that counted for absolutely nothing. That counted for absolutely nothing because we were that good today. So, Justin, hear your thoughts, please.
Um, oh, oh, I'm not so worse, to be honest. I was really hoping for a really good standout performance today, and that's exactly what we got. From the first minute, you could see they were on it from the first minute. The pressing was there, the energy was there, wasn't it? So many players played well today. Just what you want in a team. You want 7 or 8 of the starting 11 to have 8 out of 10, which is, I think, comfortably what happened today. Every aspect of the team was functioning perfectly. I mean, McGinn. One of the things you can say about John McGinn today was that you're not missing Boubacar Kamara, which is ridiculous to say, considering we were all absolutely devastated when Kamara got injured, because we know just how important he is for this team. But McGinn today, prime McGinn in that role, he brings something a bit different to Kamara, because he drives forward, he can win the ball. Dougie Luiz was outstanding, getting that goals early on. I thought Bailey played pretty well. I don't think he wasn't one of the best players on the pitch, but great assist in a tight area. Did really well. Just what he should be doing more often. He's creating them chances. Mings, one of his best performances I've seen. Piss take that he doesn't get in the England squad. He was unreal today. Absolutely unreal. Ollie Watkins is just improving game on game. His movement is phenomenal. His link up with Buendia. He knows now when Buendia picks that ball up and he drives into the middle of the heart of their defence, he just runs across the centre half and he knows that ball's coming. Really unlucky today. He didn't get a goal. Made the keeper make a couple of really good saves. The control of this team, the calmness of this team, the chemistry now of this team. Moreno down the left looked great. Matty Cash is adding, quality down the right. A couple of really good saves from the keeper, which you just expect that now from him, because he's just world class. Honestly, I am. It's the kind of performance that just makes you go, okay. We knew this was a good manager. We knew that we had a chance here of doing something special under him. But when you watch a performance of that like that for 90 minutes against, albeit a team that's struggling at the bottom, no doubt about that, but they are, there's a bit of resurgence going on at Bournemouth. They're no mugs. They've just beat Liverpool at home. They've signed some good players in January. They offered a threat. We dealt with them comfortably. Everything they threw at us, we dealt with. And we had buckets to spare going forward. We could have been 6-0 win today easily. If it had been 6-0, he'd have said, okay, that's about fair, to be fair. I can't. I can't speak highly enough of Unai Emery. What that man has done since walking in through those doors at Villa Park is nothing short of sensational. Honestly, I said it at the time. We need a manager that can walk into Villa Park, take the world on his shoulders, take that club and put it on his back, and go, "I am going to carry you forward. I'm going to take you to where you all want to go." And I've no doubt he's the man to take us into Europe.
100%. And you make some fantastic points that I'm going to try and pick to pieces out of the points that you've said. But the one word, and the one word which is the most crucial word you've said in that whole 5 minutes, is control. And that is what we are all about, controlling football matches. And I just want to take you all back. I mean, we don't want to go back. We don't want to go back to where we've been. But we've been absolutely shit under Gerrard. Absolutely woeful. We couldn't even control a pass, let alone control a football match. Do you know what I mean? And now
Yeah,
we're literally dictating playing football matches. So that short turnaround of even from what we've been to what we are now is nothing short of remarkable. And where we're going to go to is the thought of that is just even better. So that what I want to pick up on. Another thing that you said about McGinn now. How many years have we had injuries after injuries? And as soon as we get that injury, we're done for. It's like tactics out the window. That player's injured, we may as well not bother turning up. But when our best player this season in Boubacar Kamara is out injured, we all thought we were done for. We thought, oh God, here we go. We're going to be crap in the middle. Don't worry, because we've got McGinn that knows exactly what he's meant to be doing. You know what I mean? It's not like McGinn is, he's having to play in a position that he's not used to, but that's okay because there's a plan and he understands what he's meant to be doing, and he looks
yeah.
like he's played there all his career, and that is absolutely fantastic. And I just think that there was one time today, and I think this is just brilliant, is when we were on the attack, and I think Martinez caught the ball, and the whole crowd were going, just throw it, kick it, throw it. He turned to the whole end and he went, calm down, calm down, right? He threw it to Douglas Luiz and we were away. And I
Yeah,
think, you know what? That's brilliant, man, because our players now are relaxed. They're comfortable on the ball. We were knocking it about the back today. And there was just one moment where I think in the first half that we got it a little bit wrong, where they could have just, nicked it. But those passes now around the back, they're assured, they're competent, they know where they're meant to be passing it to. It looks relaxed, it looks calm. Playing out for the Mac now to me, no bother. It's just like watching us knock it around anywhere on the football pitch because it's just so easy for us. And honestly, we've spoke about all week of what we want, what we expect, what we hope the Villa fans are like. And it was just brilliant because it's exactly what we wanted. A dominant home performance with the ball, no mistakes, creating chances. And like you say, it should have been 5. If Mings put that one away, we should have had a penalty.
at least one penalty.
So, it could have easily have been 5. And we had created more chances from that. So let's talk about like the start of the game. I felt like we started it very, very well. We was on the front foot, and it was all Villa. They looked to just catch us on the counter. And like you said about Leon Bailey, I channeled him to have a good game, and I wouldn't say he had a bad game. I think he did some things that I thought, okay, all right, that's fine. He set that one up, didn't he? So it was brilliant work from Bailey to sort of come back inside and then hit it across the box. And Dougie Luiz just loves a goal against Bournemouth, doesn't he? At home. So
He loves
that
the
was
celebration.
that was brilliant to see. A little bit of a tactical point as well. Dougie Luiz seemed to be playing a little bit further forward today. There was numerous times in breaking through the lines, and We went in at half time and it was dominant. But Justin, I know you're annoyed about the penalty. So what are your thoughts on the VAR debacle? Because I was quite critical last week. I said their penalty should have been a penalty. So I feel like I do look at pens quite fairly. But to me, that's a penalty for Villa.
I think I always look at it like you. The metric I use is would I want that given if it was for Villa? And whether it's against us or for us, you have to keep a level head, I think, and think, take it that on its own merits and think, okay, would I have do they generally get given? Is that the rule? And again, this is another wishy-washy sort of area, isn't it? Handball to hand, hand to ball. Is his hand in a natural position? There's so many parts to this rule that we don't 100% understand. But for me, the first one, it's a great move from the corner. It's a well worked, pre organised move. Couple of passes, Ramsey's in space, and it's a shot on target. That's the key factor for me. It is a shot on target. That is going into the goal. Whether the keeper saves it or not is irrelevant for me. The lad is trying to block it. He's trying to open his body up as much as he can, and it hits his hand. I cannot for the life of me think how that is not a penalty. It's
Yeah.
gone to VAR, it's gone to Stockley Park. There's no comeback for it. That's a frustrating thing. He doesn't give it. I think Stockley Park somebody should front up, or there should be a report after every game, is why we didn't get that. Why didn't we give that? Why didn't we give that? And the second one, it's more debatable and it's more 50-50. So I can sort of see probably why that isn't given. At the time, I thought, I would have given it. But I suppose as I've seen it again a few times, as he's sort of going down, it's very hard not to put a hand out to stop your fall. So it hits his outstretched hand. The first one for me is nailed on penalty. The second one I've seen them given. I'm not massively overfussed with that, but it's pathetic because if we'd have been 1-0 up with 5 minutes to go, that penalty could have been the difference between comfortably winning the game. If they nick a goal last minute, they're the different. All right, we went on to win comfortably, so it's not as big an issue as it could be. I'm still raging about it, to be honest, because these decisions have got to start being. They've got to start being correct because it's going to cost teams at the end of the season massively, either European place or relegation place. Poor decisions. VAR still, for how long it's been around, sucks. I think it's awful.
Yeah, I do think it's a pen. I mean, the minute you're trying to charge down a shot with your arms like this and whatever,
Yeah,
it's a pen. Do you know what I mean? It is a penalty. So I think we could have gone in at 2-0 if that was given. But another player that I felt like had a really good game, and I was asking for more. I wanted to see more from him. Was Ramsey?
yeah,
He had a brilliant second half. Ramsey. He was back to his best. Ramsey that second half,
yeah.
breaking through them lines, dribbling with the ball. He was sensational, and I'm so happy he got that goal. And the stadium just erupted when he got that goal because 1-0's always that sort of
Tricky,
scoreline,
yeah.
isn't it? And we were so dominant. It's like, in football, in the Premier League, you know what can happen. In 2 minutes, you can be 2-1 down.
Well,
So it
there's
was
so many
brilliant.
players that have got quality, haven't they? Just split second. But we mentioned it in the preview, didn't we, about Ramsey? And we didn't say he's been poor, but we said that his levels aren't up to where we probably expected them to be, and where they have been for quite a lot of his career, really, since he broke into the first team. His levels have been so good. But it was lovely to see him today. He take that ball, front up the defender, take it past him like we can, drops the shoulder, and then he has the calmness to sort of open his body up and finish it fantastically well. I mean, it is just an outstanding performance. Like you said earlier, the way we keep the ball now, and we saw mistakes earlier in his sort of tenure that we were making playing out from the back. But the good thing and the thing we are benefiting now from that was that he wasn't chastising them for making them mistakes. He wasn't coming out and going, "Oh, he was allowing them to make mistakes, to grow to what we're seeing now without making those mistakes, without them coming in and going, look, lads, you've made a mistake and that was poor, But we're not stopping doing it. That's just because that's happened. We're not stopping playing like that. Because what's going to happen is you're going to improve. You're going to get better doing that. And those mistakes are going to become less and less and less. You're never going to eradicate mistakes because there'll always be the odd mistake. What you want to do is have very, very few mistakes and very rare mistakes. And that is what's starting to happen now. And because that's starting to happen more and more, there's less mistakes. We're keeping the ball better. We're drawing them on. We always knew that they would come and play a high press today, and that's more or less what they did. And we pick them off round the back, And like you said about the McGinn, I said McGinn was a good option to play in the Kamara role 2 games ago, and I'm not saying I was called out on it. I understand what people were saying. They were saying, but he's playing so well in the position he's playing, go further forward, which we were all crying for him to do, and he'll go back to playing that again. But he's slotted in there, like you said. Outstanding.
Today,
he was brilliant.
To be fair, we did the fan cam, and basically, some of it didn't record. So basically, on the fan cam, you just got mine. But, me and Ron were chatting on that, and we were making a point of what was happening today is where that ball was bouncing on that second ball or first ball, wherever it bounced, there was a Villa player there, and that is down to well-drilled coaching, everybody understanding where they should be, and it's just, honestly, it's just brilliant to see. How I look at football, I'm a little bit weird, like, I watch players off the ball sometimes more than the actual player on the ball, and what I'm seeing with positional and where players are running and what they're doing on and off the ball, it's just so good to see, and I feel like everybody's in the right area. Everybody's, I go back to what we were like before, and this is just a completely different Villa side now. And I know 100% in the comments someone's gonna say, but it was Bournemouth. Let's judge us after Chelsea. And if you're one of them people, just don't bother commenting, because that take is just ridiculous. And you've got to see past that, because, we want to be good. We want to play the right way. We want to keep the ball. We want to score goals. We don't want the opposition to score. We want to get in the top 10. And we're going in the right direction. And it's just so good, and it's so pleasing. And you know what, right? I am going to say it's so good for us doing this podcast, because for how many years we've been doing it, and we've been watching, counter-attacking football, 2 managers get the sack, to actually see a manager come in now and want Villa to play this way. It's so good. It's so good to talk about, to watch, and I'm absolutely loving it. And like you said at the start, I can't talk more highly of Unai Emery. We really bigged him up as a manager when he came in. We went to town on him. We said he'd do this. We said he'd do that. We said he's won this and he's won that, and he's just class. He's so good.
But it's the marginal gains, isn't it? Premier League is as you can see from bottom to sort of 12th, is it? It's so tight, and then it's really tight now from where we are to 6th. So 6th to 11th, it's really close, and then the bottom. There's not a lot that separates these teams, and to improve, sometimes you need those little marginal gains, and this is what we have got now. We've got a manager that doesn't look at just the bigger picture. He looks at every single aspect of how to win a football match. He dissects the opposition over and over and over again.
Do you know what? Well, these little silly quotes, and you hear quotes from a manager, right? So, and you'll be used to like the usual drivel that comes out some of their mouths after a win. But the one thing so far that'll stick with me now for quite a while is after Everton. We just beat Everton. And the reporter goes, so I bet you're going to have a nice glass of red wine tonight, aren't you, and enjoy the win. And he's like, well, my family and friends might, but, our home form's not great going to Crystal Palace, and we've got to really look into it and work at it. And that's off the back of a win. And he's thinking about the one that's a week later, and that's where his mindset's at. You know, he's like us. All he's thinking about all week is Aston Villa, and that's bloody brilliant, man.
He's such a breath of fresh air. He's a manager that we've been crying out for. Dare I say, in my lifetime, am I over egging it? Really, because we've had some fantastic managers in my lifetime. The Graham Taylors, the Big Rons. His birthday is today. Happy birthday, Big Ron.
But you know what you're saying there, Justin? It's not about whether certain managers have won stuff or
No,
certain managers have achieved stuff. It's the job that Unai Emery's got to do. He's got to do a job like Big Ron.
he's got to take us to a place where we historically have been in the past.
Yeah.
In my era, this era of this kit. When I first started watching Villa, we were historically a top six club every single season. We were challenging for honours every season, and we've had a really, really lean 15 years. And for fans that are new to Villa and the young kids that have anything up to say 20 years of age, they have not really seen a successful Villa team, and it's. I still class this as a top six, top eight club in the Premier League, and the club that should be challenging for honours. And clubs fans outside of the Villa fan base, and probably younger than me, your age and younger probably, they probably mock that and think, oh, it's only Villa, they're relegated, they've only just come back up. We are a huge team. We are a massive club in the second city with a huge fan base of passionate, loyal supporters that just want success. We've got brilliant ownership. We've got a lovely base squad to work off now. And the finishing touch was finding a manager that can bring all these things together. And by that, I mean the supporters as well. He does a brilliant job of we are so included in this journey he's on, because one of the first things he says in every interview is, he loves the supporters. He wants us to engage with what he's doing. He wants us to love everything that we're doing. He wants us to enjoy every fucking minute on that pitch. And I have since Dino, I haven't felt as engaged with the manager for a really, really long time. And Dino was brilliant for that because he was who he was and he was a Villa fan. But for a Spanish manager to come in and click immediately with the fans like he has, it helps that the results are good, obviously, but because he's so good and he's got such a track record, I am all in with him. I am all in with him, to use a Stevie Gerrard phrase. I am all in with Unai Emery, and I cannot wait for the next 18 months and 2 years and 3 years and 5 years, because I downplayed our chances of Europe this season massively, and because I didn't want to get ahead of myself. But there's a chance now. We've put ourselves in a really good position based on where we've been and the level of performance, especially today we've seen. Then we can go toe to toe with every team this season we've got left to play, and if we do, we do. If we don't, we don't. I'll just enjoy the ride to the end of the season. Wherever we finish, we finish. But what a team! What a manager! What a club!
Yes, he's doing really well, and he deserves a lot of credit. So this is the Premier League table now as it stands. So where are we? We are still in 11th, currently level on points with Chelsea. Their game's 0-0 so far with Everton. We've now
only 4 points now to 6.
But we're a point behind Fulham, having played the same amount of games. So we've still got to play Chelsea, Fulham, Brentford, Brighton, Liverpool, Newcastle, Spurs, United, right? So we've still got to play all the teams that are in and around us. So
I still think Brighton, Brentford and Fulham, the 3 teams there that are catchable. Brighton will have to have a bit of a lapse in form, but Brentford and Fulham, 1,000,000% for me, are catchable now. Whether Liverpool and Chelsea's form remains poor, that we can catch them, and Brighton form will have to drop off a little bit probably because they've got them couple of games in hand still. But it's not beyond the realms of possibility. I think minimum 9th this season. That's my gut reaction at the moment as it stands.
yeah, I agree. I'm really happy with it because, those games do have those. The record was terrible, weren't it, against Bournemouth?
Yeah.
I saw a fan channel put on their thumbnail to their match preview as "Is Villa Park our playground?" And I'm just like, God's sake, have a bit of respect. But it was a difficult game in itself. They were absolutely, flying at the minute, weren't they?
Yeah, yeah.
They were brilliant against Arsenal, beat Liverpool. Tough game today for Villa, against a side that's fighting for their lives. So, really, really
Well,
pleased with it.
I spoke to the Bournemouth lads on the podcast, the Cherries podcast, and they're lovely lads, and they're dead honest. They said they weren't good enough at the start of the season, but they'd seen a massive improvement after the January signings. And they were bigging up and saying, "Look, we are a different team now." O'Neill has struggled a little bit, but they were saying he sort of got to grips with things, and that performance last week against Liverpool was a real. They felt it was a real turning point. So for us to comfortably dismantle them today,
Yeah.
like the way we did, regardless of who they are and where they are in the league, it was an outstanding Premier League performance at
Yeah.
home. One we haven't seen at Villa Park for a pretty long time, to be honest. So you can't disregard that and
Yeah.
just saying it was only Bournemouth. It was a really good performance against a competitive Premier League side.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant.
With
So,
winnable games to come.
definitely. So, that'll be it today then. Aston Villa 3, Bournemouth 0. Absolutely buzzing. Love it. We go into this break now. We don't play him, for like basically 2 weeks now, do we? So we'll be
No,
back against Chelsea. And we can just enjoy this mini break now. I've got some little concepts that I'm gonna bring next week. So there'll still be plenty of Villa content. And some ones that you can get interactive with as well. So we'll go live a couple of times next week as well. So, and we'll have our player ratings out tomorrow. We'll have our debrief out on Monday, and then we'll have some interactive ones that you can get involved with us as well. So if you are new, just subscribe, just out this channel. Do you know what I mean? If you're a Villa fan and you want to get on this journey and ride it with us, then get on board because it's going to be great. So,
jump
other
on
than
board
that,
the Emery train.
yes.
Up
Up
the
the